Welcome to the Meet Crete podcast, where we sit down and talk with people who make Crete run every day. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm one of the creative producers in the communications department at Crete Carrier. Today, we're going to talk to Wade Petray. Am I saying that right? I always...
No, but that's okay.
No, say it. Say it one time.
Petray.
Petray.
Yeah.
Just like it's written, right?
Yeah. It gets everybody, don't it?
And Wade, while having the world's best last name, is also the fleets and equipment manager. All I know about Wade is if there's something that I need to shoot inside of a truck, I got to call Wade. And Wade always hooks me up. And thanks for sitting down and doing this.
Yeah.
I
exciting to be here.
Is it exciting?
It is exciting. I've been thinking about it all day long.
Have you really?
I really have, yeah.
Wow.
I'm that nervous.
We got to get you out of fleets
Yeah.
just a little bit. You're one of the people around here that is not from Nebraska originally, right?
Correct. I'm originally from Little Rock, Arkansas, a little town outside of North Little Rock, Arkansas. And I've lived here, though, most of my life, so it's practically Nebraska. Yeah.
Do you ever go back to Arkansas?
Oh, yeah. I haven't been back in a few years. My parents will chagrin at that. But, yeah, I get back there from time to time. They live on the family farm, so we still have the family thing there. So
I had family down there as well, and I know Little Rock really well. Here's what I know is when you go to Little Rock at Christmas time, it's 1,000 degrees.
Yes.
It's not. Yeah. It's never Christmas time there, ever. It's weird.
No, it's short sleeve weather there all the time.
Yeah. Totally. So tell me about your growing up. Where'd you go to school?
Sure. So I grew up until I was 14 down in Little Rock, Arkansas, and family in the volunteer fire department, hunting, fishing, doing all that sort of stuff. We lived kind of out in the suburbs. Had a great time growing up. My dad worked for a company that transferred him to Omaha. So at 14, we moved to Omaha, and I was super excited for that. I was ready to get out of Arkansas. I was ready to see something new. Even at that ripe old age of 14, ready to see the world, right? So, yeah, we got to Omaha, and I lived there for a few years, and then moved out to North Platte, Nebraska. Moved out the Thanksgiving before my 16th birthday. That was pretty exciting, about 2 days before my birthday, and stayed out there until I finished high school. And then I moved here for Lincoln for school, and that's kind of where I've been since then, for the most part.
So for your adult career, you haven't been at Crete forever. You kind of had another career before you came here.
I did. So I worked for one of the two major railroad carriers in the Western Hemisphere, United States, or Western United States. I worked for them in North Platte. My dad worked for them for a ton of years. My father-in-law worked for them for a ton of years. I worked there. Started out in the field, moving trains, hustling cars, and all that heavy lifting, so to speak, out in the field. Then I directed from a tower, yard master, so you're in control of an area. And then I worked for them. I worked over the road a short time. I did some peer training there. I was a dispatcher for them for a few years. But in all that time, it's about 10 years total, I was on call the entire time.
Oh, no.
It was very hard on the family.
I'll bet.
Very hard.
I'll bet. And I grew up in a railroad town, and none of that is easy work.
No.
None of it. And then to be on call on top of that, that's the worst.
Yeah.
So what got you into Crete?
So I was commuting back and forth from Lincoln to Omaha, doing the dispatching job up there, and it just came to a point of, we've got to do something different. This isn't working for my wife and I, my family. I got a couple of short calls where they call you with 30 minutes to be there, and if you're not there in 30 minutes, you're in trouble. Well, I was in trouble because I can't be there in 30 minutes. So I started looking. I saw an opportunity here. I came to work here. I worked overnights at first. Of course, like any smart guy, I moved during the recession, so things were tight for the companies of all kinds. But I worked overnights. That worked great for my family. I could do all of the kids' school activities, things that I was missing out on before. I could suddenly do because I was off during the day. So I started doing that. I did that for 4 years here at Crete in operations, and learned a ton of things. At that time, there were nights where there were 3 people working for the whole company. So you did it all. So I learned a lot, and just kind of moved up from there.
This company's really good about finding a place for not just personalities, but skill sets. Mm-hmm. And you're one of those people that I feel like they cherry picked and said, it would be perfect for that. Do you kind of feel that way about your job?
A lot of times, yeah. I mean, there have been times when I've seen other opportunities, and I try for those opportunities and fall short for whatever reason because there's somebody that I can see is more suited for that job. And so then it's like, well, that takes the sting out of it because like, oh, well, I'd hire that guy too for that job instead of me. And then I've, having worked in the fleet's equipment for a number of years and doing what I do and interviewing people for that job at times, yeah, I mean, I can see like I'm in the spot. I'm in the spot I'm supposed to be. This is my seat on the bus, as Tom would say, and this is the seat I'm holding, and this is the seat I'm gonna operate from. So,
Well, we're glad you're here.
thank you.
And now that you're here, now that you got a little time off, and we're not going to call you after 6:00, what do you do? What do you do when you're not here at Crete?
Well, I get off at 4, so don't call me after 4.
Okay, well, all right, 4:10. Way to answer the phone.
I'm nothing but a vapor trail, man.
Yep.
No, so when I get off work, I started playing disc golf, frisbee golf.
How much fun is that?
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you were telling me that a couple of months ago, and I'm just like, I don't really peg you as a frolf. They call it frolf?
Frolf, yeah, people call it frolf. I love it, man. It's good exercise for me. I get out and walk around. I like to bike ride too and play regular golf too. But the sweet thing about disc golf or frisbee golf, frolf, if you're having a crappy round, it didn't cost you anything to be there. You can walk yourself right back to the car and go somewhere else and do something else. And it
no
doesn't
greens
feel bad
fees
at all.
No greens fees at all.
No,
that's kind of cool.
Nobody counting on you to get the cart around or help you carry the empty beer cans to the trash or any of that business. Just walk back to the car. You're fine.
Are there rules and regulations like there are with golf? Is everybody kind of loose with that, or are they kind of?
It depends. Like in a casual round, it's no big deal. I played last night in a tournament or a league round, and the rules are like, we all know the rules, and some of these rules are important, and some of them, like, I don't care, But there are a lot of rules, just like, there's a whole organization, just like the PGA. There's a disc golf PGA.
It's kind of great.
It is weird, but most of the time, casual rounds, it's like regular golf. Like if you foot the ball out of the green or fluff your lie, or out of the rough and fluff your rye, not a big deal. If you throw your disc into the water and you can reach it, so you just throw it from there, nobody's going to fault you for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Out of bounds becomes an option on a casual round.
So what's your best score so far?
Oh gosh. So last night I played at a course called Bethany Park. It's a new course here in Lincoln. Crete sponsored it a little bit, put some money up for that when they were doing the fundraiser for it. That was exciting. It was a doubles round. My partner and I shot 15 under on 18 holes.
Wow.
We came in third. So
you came in third?
We lost to one team by one stroke, and my partner, Alex, and I would probably say, well, we missed at least one putt that we should have made, and they made one that maybe shouldn't have made. And then the team that won threw a hole-in-one, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah. But, 15
How
under
great is
was
that?
pretty good.
All right, so walk me through all these discs have. First of all, how many discs in your bag, and what are the jobs of each one of the discs? Because they have it's like carrying a bag full of clubs, right? They all have a different job to do.
It's exactly like that. So there are 4 categories of discs. You've got your putters, which are like short throws, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the time, the putters fly pretty much straight. You also have mid ranges. That's for your kind of between the tee and the green. You got to go maybe 150 to 200 feet. That's going to be your mid range group. They fly different ways. Some of them bank left, some bank right, some go straight. Then you got fairway drivers, which would be, think of it like your long irons or your fairway woods. And then you got drivers, and these are your discs you're throwing, 300, 350 feet, 400 feet, longer if you're
They'll go that far?
Oh, yeah. The longest thrower right now that kind of runs the tour is a little over 700 feet. I'm not even close to that. But I can putt with him. If it's drive for show and putt for dough, I'm putting for dough, man. I can't drive for
really?
For dough. Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting. When I was a kid, and I mean kid, Frisbee was a huge deal. Mm-hmm. I used to be pretty good at those tricks and everything, but that doesn't apply to the golf thing. I wish it did,
Yeah.
because then I'd have a brand new hobby. But
Sure. Yeah. And
no, it's really cool that you have that.
yeah, the accuracy part would apply, because
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to be accurate.
You do have to be accurate.
But yeah, as far as like the catch, the throws apply because there's lots of ways to throw the disc, right? You know that.
I've seen them throw overhand, right?
And yeah, you get tomahawks, and the
Yeah.
names for them crack me up. You get the thumber, the tomahawk, the skymahawk.
How'd you get involved with this?
Scoobers. Just I saw kids playing it in the park near my house, and I was like, that looks like a good time. And so I told my kids for Father's Day last year, I was like, I want some frisbee golf discs. So they got me a starter pack, and now I've got somewhere over 40 discs at home, and I carry about 15 at a time. And yeah, my wife's a big fan of that.
But at the same time, you've got a company that kind of believes in it and kind of helped out a park. But I would think that if you wear the Crete colors, maybe there might be a sponsorship.
Maybe we'll talk to somebody in this group over here.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to
See
make
what we
that.
can do.
Yeah, tell me about your family a little bit.
Sure. So been married for a long time. We'll be 27 years, I think, in June.
Wow.
28 years. Great. 2 kids together, boy and a girl. They're adults now. They're on their own.
That's the best kind.
That's the best kind, man. Yeah, I think we've talked about that
Yes.
before, right? Like,
Yeah.
You raise them to be independent people and do their own thing, and sometimes they don't do what you want them to do, but as long as they're making that decision, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, if they're happy.
Yeah, if they're happy.
As long as they're not in jail and they're happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I qualify that way too. Yeah. If they're not in trouble, they're happy. And I'll add too that if they're kind of doing their own thing on their own terms, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I don't want them to come to me for decisions at this point. They're adults, My son's 25, my daughter's 23. They're making their own way, and that's all I can hope.
Which is great. Yeah. And my kids are the same way, and hopefully they'll come back someday.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate that, but who knows? What holidays help.
Yeah. I've got Christmas presents.
Tell me what it's like to do your job every day. What's in an average day for you, and what do you oversee?
Oh man. So what I oversee is really, it's a lot, but it's nothing at the same time. Ultimately, it's tractor assignments, right? So the team that I'm on, what I do, we have, of course, new drivers coming on board, 4 or 5 places across the country, Mondays and Wednesdays. I find trucks for those people and get them assigned and make sure it's the right fit as much as I can. We try to accommodate requests as much as we can. Get those folks seated so they can get to work, start making money for themselves, start doing the work. I also work with the team, and if that same driver breaks down, we find them another truck, a loaner, a recovery, which we don't like to have to do, but that's the nature of the beast. We do it, or a replacement truck. We also pull off the sale trucks, so the truck gets old. We pull that truck off, put a new one onto the road, get that driver moved. I handle a lot of the inventory, so if we've got too many trucks in the fleet, I'm working to whittle that down. If we don't have enough trucks in the fleet, I'm kind of massaging of where we need trucks and who we have the right people in the right truck. To move things around to make sure we have enough equipment for all those folks coming on board. I also do fuel compliance monitoring. So I monitor a report to make sure we're buying fuel where we're supposed to buy fuel to most effective as possible. We get discounts on fuel where we buy it, so I want to make sure we're maximizing that discount. So I work on that. I work on idle, make sure we're not idling the truck too much, burning excess fuel. And then when I say I work on that, I am basically working with the fleet's managers and the fleet staff.
Sure.
So that they work with the driver on that. So, we have certain marks that are my goals to hit, and then I press that down to the terminals, and they press that down to the drivers. And ultimately, if we're all going the right direction and we're all meeting our goals, then we're all succeeding. And that's my goal, is to get us all succeeding. Just like with my kids, I want them to be independent and go their own way. I want our fleet staff and our drivers to be able to be independent and do what they want to do, but we still have to fit in the parameters of what we've got to get done. The goals are the same for me as they are for anybody else.
Sure.
So to that end, to get there, just like with you and I, if there's something you need done and it's involving the truck and you don't work for the AMS group, you reach out to me. And I'm kind of that middle guy between anybody in the AMS group. Or the AMS group and anybody else. If you need something with a truck, I'm here to help you. I'll see what I can do. I'll make it work. Ultimately, my goal is to make sure the equipment's working and we're using it efficiently.
And you're the go-to guy. You are absolutely the guy. And you know what I appreciate about you too? Not only do you help me get things done when I need to do them inside of a truck, but if I don't know where to go next, you're always, here, I'm going to take you to this guy. He knows. And there's a lot of that around Crete, but I would say that you're the king of that. Here's the guy you need to talk to. You're the king of that. How did you get to that place? Because that's beyond customer service to me. You don't have to help a coworker succeed necessarily, but you do a lot of that.
I try, and I think a lot of that goes back to working at nights over here. Man, I didn't know anybody when I came on board, so I had to find these people. And who do I talk to about a trailer problem this guy had at 3 o'clock in the morning? There's nobody till 7 o'clock in the morning, so I find that person. And then eventually you keep having those questions, so you go seek out the right person. And it was a lot of work to do that. So, when I get an opportunity to help somebody find the right person, okay, well, it's this person. I know that because that's the question I had. Let me introduce you to them. Let me hand you off. And it builds on that network that we all have so that, next time you need something, you already know who to talk to. You can come to me if you want. I'll be glad to help. But you also have that information, so you can just do it.
Right.
And that's to me, that's a joy of being independent and self-reliant. You can find the way yourself, and if I can help you find the way yourself, then you have something to build on.
So, I've had overnight jobs. They're not the best, but they're also not the worst either. But in the situation where you're talking about, where you don't know anybody, there's not a lot of people to rely on here. And you got to wait till morning to get things done. Do you ever think that you would last 16 years here at that point?
I really didn't. In fact, I probably, the first 4 years, I'm working overnights in the daytime. I had some other gigs going at the same time. In addition to being with my kids whenever I could be, doing whatever they were doing. But yeah, I had some other gigs going. I inspected houses for a while. I do a lot of repair work on things, create things, rebuild things, put furniture together, bicycle repair, coaching. I've done a lot of different things in the meantime. The whole time, though, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is a good fit for me. I understand what's happening here. I see how the pieces fit together, and I can navigate that, for myself and for the 7 principles here. I really take some of that to heart, or a lot of that to heart, all of it, really. Every one of those things, I'm like, yeah, I identify with that. That makes sense to me, and so it makes it easy to stay here.
You're definitely that seat on the bus guy.
Yeah,
you're definitely that guy. What do you like most about your job? I'm thrilled to come over and talk with you because you're a lot of fun. But everybody likes you. What do you like about your job every day?
The challenge of the puzzle. The logistics in general is a puzzle. You think about it, no matter how you think about the piece of logistics you're talking about, it's all a puzzle. So you're trying to put it together and figure out, okay, how does this piece fit? Or how do I make this piece fit into a machine that's already working? How do I add in things and make it work better? Or take away things to make it work better? That's what I like about it, the puzzle. When I sit there and do orientation every day, every week, I'm looking at maybe 50 drivers or 60 or 75 or 100 drivers that are coming on board this week. And I've got maybe 2 more trucks than that. And they're all over the country. Okay, who do I send to this one? And does that make sense? It doesn't make sense to send a Walmart Cheyenne guy to Indianapolis for a truck when I could send him to Cheyenne for a truck, or North Platte for a truck, or seat him here, or Kansas City. A Southeast regional guy shouldn't get sent to Indianapolis for a truck or Columbus for a truck. So
or Utah,
which Man, sometimes. I mean, sometimes it just works that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the puzzle of, okay, I've got X number of pieces and X number of problems. How do I apply these pieces to those problems?
So I'm assuming, because nobody's great at their job in a new place off the bat, ever.
Right.
And then when you've been in that company or put in a new position, there's kind of this idea that, oh, he's going to be great at this. He's been here a while. He gets it. But you're not, especially when you're talking about numbers. How much is too much?
Right.
How much is too little? And finding that balancing act. I don't know how you get that done. But you're also talking about pieces of equipment that are not cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot of guidance, honestly. I mean, we have a great leadership team here. Plug for myself there. We have a great leadership team here that helps with that. If we're a little heavy on, for example, day cab equipment, we've got a little too much day cab equipment, and run that up to my supervisor and so forth. Like, yeah, we can pull, I'll make a suggestion. Maybe we pull these because we have too many. Sometimes they come back like, yeah, do that. Or, hey, we've got something else in the pipeline. Just sit on them for now. Okay, well, I'll find something else I can maybe do something with. It's just good cooperative effort from the top to the bottom. I just got off the phone with a guy before I walked over here. I got to move his truck. Well, I've got to move him out of a truck and into another one. He's going home far, far away in July. Like, man, I can't hold that truck till July for you. You're going to have to make it work. So we worked out a plan, to make it happen in the next 5 days, 7 days. Okay, let's make it happen by the end of the month. I'll sit on it that long,
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of work top to bottom. I'm working with Tim and Winston on different things, and Eric on truck needs and what we can accommodate. And then I'm working with drivers that are out there on the field every day with what truck they're in and what they're going to be in next and what they need from their truck to make it all work. It's just a top to bottom effort and cooperation.
Well, I want to thank you for hooking me up over the past few years that I've been here. It's always a pleasure to come over and see you. But thanks for keeping us rolling too. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, it's great. It's a great place to be. I'm glad to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching and for listening to the Meet Crete podcast. Just a reminder, you can find all of our weekly updates, driver stories, and more episodes of this podcast on the Crete Carrier YouTube channel. We'll be back to find out more about the people we work with inside of Crete Carrier and Schaefer Trucking in the next episode of Meet Crete.